sensitive places, or the concept that we're going to disarm the people in certain places, in certain circumstances. I think churches, schools, courtrooms, sporting events, crap like that. I guess you could also probably apply the mantra of don't go stupid places with stupid people and you won't have stupid problems. Could apply here, but that's beside the point. This is a concept that the Supreme Court has recognized as constitutionally valid. And I absolutely disagree. Before I really get revved up today, I guess I want to say that I want to make it clear that generally speaking, when it comes to the Supreme Court, I generally accept the edicts of the Supreme Court because I feel that they have done a thorough constitutional analysis in most instances, and in most instances, those metrics that they use for analysis are not arbitrary, and they've come to a group decision on how the founders intended this thing to operate, right? I find a fundamental flaw in the logic of sensitive places that I want to discuss here with you today. This is one of the videos that can either be a spawn of discussion down in the comments, an archive for later use, or simply just a thought experiment on why it is that we have sensitive places and why that logic no longer works today. There are things that are constitutionally recognized that existed that are no longer used today. Think 3/5 compromise. And I would say that the concept of sensitive places is as outdated as that logic today. So we're going to get into that after a real quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Excess Sights. I've been using Excess Sights for a long period of time, even before I couldn't see anymore. My eyes have gotten a little bit older, so the big dots are definitely on my list of things that are necessary equipment, but they make other sight profiles as well, like your standard notch and post sight, and typically, up to this point, they have been tritium sights with a photoluminescent ring around them that gives you a lit up sight regardless of the lighting conditions that you're operating in. But now they also offer high visibility fiber optic sights for those of you who want to take advantage of those for your target shooting, ensuring that regardless of your lighting conditions, XS makes the brightest sight in any light. Okay, so to lead off, I want to show you something that happened over the weekend in Pittsburgh.
A whole different kingdom in God.
Minutes into the Sunday sermon outside of Pittsburgh,
And God I chose.
Pastor Glenn Germany suddenly found himself staring down the barrel of a gun. The heart-stopping moments captured on the church's live stream. You can make out the gun jamming. A fast-acting church deacon jumped in to help. The two seen wrangling the gun from the attacker's hands, who allegedly told police that God told him to do it.
Also, while we're here, nomenclature fail. It wasn't a jam. It's an internal hammer-fired gun, and when you pull the trigger, you draw the hammer back, and then it falls. The crazy dude didn't put a round in the chamber. Now, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is an all right place. It's Pennsylvania, so they've got the roads all screwed up, the whole can't turn left thing, and one-way streets, that is what it is, but generally it's a safe city. Obviously it's a city, so a safe city is an oxymoron, and it's a college town, so you always have problems when you got college towns and cities mixed, right? But it's not a Chicago, it's not a Detroit, and it's not a Los Angeles. It's generally an okay place. And there's this one place downtown that has really amazing breakfast. Their coffee is absolutely terrible, but if you need a waffle, that's your place. Sorry, I'm on a diet and I haven't had a carb in like 5 months. You guys get the idea, though. The idea that because this is a place of worship, it should be disarmed is, quite frankly, antithetical to reason and logic. Innumerable times throughout history, you can point to instances where places of worship were the targets of persecution, lethal persecution. In fact, you can probably pull up the news today and find some place that has been a target. On top of that, the idea that, we're people of peace, so we shouldn't, have weapons. Sorry, time out. But if you are a member of any of the big three, having read all of them, that's not what your book says. Read it a little bit closer. to be clear, the sensitive place is not a historical term. It was never mentioned. It was an amalgamation of instances throughout the founding era that have been used to cite the concept that, hey, we want to secure these places from weapons. Now, the basis for that, in every instance that I have seen presented, is, hey, this is going to be a densely packed place of bodies, and if somebody cooks off a gun in that space, the potential for injury is pretty high. Think packed church, think packed sporting event, think courtroom, everybody sitting really close together, standing room only type stuff. Somebody cooks off a gun through negligent discharge or something like that, and you might hit a couple people. Logical basis, understood. Those are, or at least at the time, were valid concerns due to firearms technology. Today, not so much. But the logic at least exists. The problem with that logic is that that is no longer the threat that we face. So the government intervening in those instances to say, hey, we are going to provide for your safety in these instances by making sure that somebody doesn't do something stupid inside of a bar, for instance, like, hey, leave your guns at the front, check them with the I don't think it would be the concierge, but you get the concept. The dude at the door, the bouncer. Check your guns with the bouncer. That's the word that I was looking for. You are going to be protected inside the space. That's not what's happening today. I can see an argument for a courtroom, okay? Because inside the courtroom, you have armed officers of the law. Many armed officers of the law. I can buy that one. Schools ain't working. Churches ain't working. Sporting events, which brings me up to security. I guarantee you go Google sniper, the term sniper, and you'll come up with a couple Super Bowl pictures. Absolutely, at large sporting events in the United States, we provide professional lethal force security. The concept of security being provided by the government, that means literally provided, as in, hey, part of the security plan is everybody that comes in the door, we disarm them, and then if anybody starts shooting during the event, we just shoot that person. That is a viable method of security. Same thing with churches. Some churches that I have been to have exactly that thing where it's like, hey, we provide literally dudes standing over there with MP5s. If somebody starts shooting during the service, we're just going to kill that person. Oh, okay. That is substantially different than what we're talking about in most instances where congregation members are disarmed through the force of law, even if the religious institution says that it is okay for those congregation members to provide for their own safety, because they do not provide for their own safety, which, again, if you're a Christian, is antithetical to what is written in the book. So to circle this back around, because I could probably do this for another hour and I can feel my blood pressure rising, the concept of sensitive places only works if you actually provide the security. The expansion of sensitive places into places that are just gun-free zones is built around the concept of people being good. When you have evil that specifically targets a location because it is a place that they have determined can perpetrate mass carnage with impunity, at least for a little period of time, what you have done is create a killing ground. And sensitive places only works if the security is actually provided. And it is my contention that the security was intended to be provided by the individuals, because the founders of the nation recognized that the authorities can't be everywhere all the time. The founders recognized that there was a concept of evil. What we have done today is really turned it into a, hey, you can't have guns in there, so therefore you can't perpetrate gun-related crime in here. That's not how that works, and it's not how it is currently working. So we should jettison those, or if we don't want to jettison those, then we need to be providing for that security in every instance. If you're a church, you best have a lethal force security team. If you don't, then your congregation should be allowed to carry. If you are a school, those children should be protected. But the idea that, oh, well, we're just going to put a sign out front, simply advertises that this is a place that evil can perpetuate itself. Anyway, yeah, I'm starting to sweat. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. And remember that any engagement absolutely helps out. Thank you very much for tuning into the VSO Gun Channel, and we'll see you on another one here pretty soon. Bye.